Okay, I call this special meeting to order at 6:39 p.m. Good evening, everyone. Commissioner Cabot, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. Please stand and face the flag. Put your hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Abbott. Adrian, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cabot,
Present.
Commissioner Cordero,
Present.
Commissioner Shea,
Present.
Vice Chair Huerta.
Present. We will now have some announcements from the Community Services Manager, Matthew Morales-Stevens.
Tonight's meeting is live streamed on Cable Channel 3 and our online platforms. If you wish to address the Community Services Commission during tonight's meeting, we request that you please complete a speaker's card and hand it to the clerk, Adrian Franquez. When speaking, please state your name for the record. If you wish to be added to the distribution list to receive Community Services Commission agendas, please email your request to cscommission@sgch.org.
Okay. First order of agenda is the approval of the agenda order. Are there any objections to the agenda order? No. Hearing none, the agenda order is approved. Can we have a motion? Oh. Okay. Adrian, please take the vote. Oh, we don't.
Yep, so everything passes since there's no objection.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, public comment. This is a time set aside for members of the public to address the Community Services Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda, but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the Community Services Commission cannot answer any questions or take any action until such time as the matter may appear as an item on a future agenda. Matthew, do we have any public comments for tonight's meeting?
We do not.
Okay. Action items. Approval of minutes. The minutes are a record of the official actions taken at the Community Services Commission. Matthew and Adrian, do we have any public comments on the action item?
We do not.
The time for public comment on this item is now closed. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of August 1st, 2022?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the vote. Commissioner Cabot,
Yes.
Commissioner Cordero,
Yes.
Commissioner Shea,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Huerta.
Aye.
Oh, she wasn't.
I wasn't here. Am I
Okay.
supposed to?
Mm,
I think I have to abstain.
yeah, so you're still able to vote
Okay.
to make sure that everything
Okay.
it looks proper.
Wonderful. Aye.
Okay, motion passed by a vote of 4 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you. Next item, discussion items. Item 4A, employee introduction. Staff will introduce Amy Cortez, Recreation Supervisor.
Excellent. So if I can have Amy come up to the podium. So Amy Cortez is our recently promoted Recreation Supervisor for the Community Services Department. Before serving as Recreation Supervisor, she served as the Recreation Coordinator for our department. She joined during the pandemic, so during all of the chaos and the constant changes and constant trying to provide services to the public and to our residents in a time of great uncertainty. And she definitely thrived during that time period, and we were very fortunate to have her on board. We couldn't have done that without her. So kudos to her and coming in with such a positive attitude. Prior to joining the City of San Gabriel, She served as the teen center director for the Boys and Girls Club of the Foothills in Monrovia, overseeing the daily operations of the facility and grant-funded youth programs. She also has 10 years of recreation experience in the city of Duarte as a recreation leader and interim recreation coordinator, overseeing the summer camp program, citywide special events, and youth sports. Currently, she oversees all of our youth programs. So that includes our free after-school programs at Coolidge, Washington, Wilson, Roosevelt, and McKinley. She assists and leads some of our citywide special events, including Fall Fun Festival, Spring Celebration, Cinco de Mayo, and Dia de los Muertos Community Altar and Concert. So there's just a few of the things that she's done so far. Her role will continue to evolve throughout her time here in the city of San Gabriel. She's a true asset to our team. She comes in with a can-do spirit every day, and we are extremely thankful to have her continuing with us.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you, Matthew. And good evening, Vice Chair Huerta and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be with you guys here today. I'm super excited to step into this new role as our Recreation Supervisor and hope to continue to grow the programs that we're currently offering, but also look forward into the future and to provide some new and innovative programs and events and services to the residents of San Gabriel. So I'm really looking forward to, continuing to work with our amazing community services team, but to also work alongside you all.
Thank you. Welcome. Does any commission member have factual questions for staff to clarify or to address?
I would just like to congratulate you and welcome on the position, and I want to commend you. If you worked along with these folks, Matthew and everyone else, during the pandemic, did an amazing job, because we were about the only town that continued, the only city that continued all these activities even during the pandemic. Most towns just shut down and didn't do anything, so that's very commendable. And you come with an impressive resume. My goodness, we are very lucky to have you. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think our team was definitely up for the challenge, and we rose to the occasion for sure.
Other commission members? No? Wonderful. So, Matthew, do we have any public comments on this action item?
We do not.
Okay. The time for public comment on this item is now closed. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Okay. Commission reorganization. I think it's right. 4B. Commission reorganization is part of the annual commission reorganization process. The commission will select a new chair and vice chair for the commission. Staff will present the options available to the commissioners before a vote is taken.
Great. So we do currently have a vacant position on the commission. So we currently have 4 members on the commission. So at that time, since the chair is no longer with us, that leaves us to fill the chair space, as well as completely reorg the commission. Once the new commissioner is brought on board, we will wait until the regular annual time period to do another reorganization. So there won't be another reorganization at that time. Just to give you a full understanding of what this reorganization looks like tonight. Now, as far as kind of how we select the chair, it will be by nomination. The person who is nominated then needs to accept the nomination. You can choose to not accept the nomination, at which point then that nomination is void. Now, if you accept the nomination and then someone else is nominated and they also accept the nomination, it will go in order of, it will then have to be a vote. So if there's if there's only one person that is nominated, you will be selected chair by acclamation. If there's more than one person that is nominated, it will be in the order we will take the vote in the order in which people were nominated. So, for example, if it was between Adrian and I, and Adrian was nominated first, a vote would be taken on whether or not she should be selected chair, and then the vote would go to me if for some reason she didn't receive the majority of the votes. Okay. Once our selection of the chair has been done, the new chair will then lead the remainder of the meeting, including the selection of the vice chair. Were there any questions for me on that process? No? Okay.
No?
And then, let's see. I didn't include it in the script, so I apologize, but there are no public comments on this. And then we'll jump right into the selection of the chair.
So are nominations open at this time?
Yes, so I'll be opening the floor
Okay.
right now.
I would like to nominate Vice Chair Huerta to be chair.
So
Thank you.
perfect. So Vice Chair Huerta has been nominated for chair. Are there any
Wonderful.
other nominations?
No?
No? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So hearing none, I close the floor to nominations and declare that Commissioner Huerta is now chair by acclamation.
Yay. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Chair Huerta. And we will now turn the meeting over to you for the conduct of the remainder of the meeting and selection of a vice chair.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for having confidence in me. The floor is now open for nominations for the selection of vice chair. Are there any motions for vice chair?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Ting Chi as Vice Chair.
Yes.
Yay.
We all agree?
Of course.
Wonderful. Hearing
Perfect. Yep.
Hearing none, I close the floor to nominations and declare that Ting Xie is selected vice chair by acclamation.
Nope, we are all set.
Wonderful. Congratulations, Vice Chair Xie. Okay, Matthew, do we have any public comments on the action item?
We do not.
Great. The time for public comment on this item is now closed. Moving on to discussion of approved 2022 annual work plan. Commission members, to begin working on the approved 2022 annual work plan. The work plan items of primary focus include item 1A, develop and implement pop-up events or host an information booth at events publicizing all transportation services offered in the city. 3B, partner and collaborate with various cultural and interfaith organizations to assist in the development and implementation of events and services. 5A, collect survey data with targeted questions to improve, enhance, and seek additional services as needed. Turn it over to staff.
Great. Thank you. So at the last council meeting, the council approved the annual work plan. It will be highly likely that a lot of what's on the 2022 work plan will roll over into a 2023 work plan. So most likely the October-November meeting is when the commission will start developing that work plan. So it will be very difficult to complete a whole lot in the work plan, so don't feel obligated that everything needs to be completed within the last few months of 2022. So what we've done tonight is outlined those three areas that we thought would be a good jumping off point. It doesn't mean that that has to be the only discussion for the night, but it is a good starting point. I will make a note that on the collect survey data, the HERE Commission has done a community engagement survey. So what we can do, if the commission is interested, we can provide the results of that survey to the Community Services Commission to take a look at as either a jumping off point to creating your own survey or to do something completely different that doesn't overlap, just for your reference purposes.
So you would provide the whole survey?
Correct. Correct. We can provide the questions as well as the results.
I was going to say not necessarily the answers, but or the results. We can see the results as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That might be helpful to see what they've already garnered, and then what's still missing as far as what we were looking for.
Great.
Okay. Okay, so will we begin this work today, or did you say October?
Correct. So the work would start today on the current work plan.
Okay.
So my recommendation would be that you start at the beginning, which would be the 1A that we recommended.
Tackle it.
And it could be throwing out tidbits of information and then following up at the next meeting. By no means at any one particular meeting do you have to complete one of those items. It may be one of the simpler ones that you are able to complete within one meeting. And you're always welcome to direct staff to provide you additional information for a follow-up at the next meeting. For example, the HERE Commission survey. So it sounds like that was requested of us to bring it back. So we'll do that with no problem. But if there's something, for example, you want to know if we have any other pop-up events and we're not able to get you an answer at this moment, that's something that you can direct us to give you an answer at the next commission meeting. So if you need further information to help guide your discussions, that can all be part of this as well.
Okay, thank you. Does any commission member have factual questions for staff to clarify?
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions and comments. For 1A, develop and implement pop-up events, publicizing transportation services, and I think that's an excellent idea. I'm wondering, the HERE Commission is hosting a mental health one this weekend. Now, obviously, we aren't going to do that, but again, there's might be a good opportunity for us to collaborate with them rather than reinventing the wheel all the time. You know, if they're going to have it all organized, we can just say, how about we put up some information about transportation as well? That way, staff doesn't have to plan two separate pop-ups, which are a lot of work, and we can piggyback onto theirs. That's just a thought. I don't know what you folks are thinking.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what we had in mind
Yeah, I think
all
we
along,
did.
is
Yeah,
to
we talked
piggyback
about
on
it.
any event that might have a booth open,
Great.
and that
Mhm.
way we can have our own booth and reach out to the community that way.
Perfect.
Yeah, it seems like all the things that we have at the beginning, we can collaborate with them. They've already started that. I noticed that on their mental health, I do think they have cultural interfaith organizations involved in that already, don't they, Matthew? Or not? Or is it all mental health and medical?
For the most part, it's more mental
Okay,
health
okay.
related.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the brochures, but I didn't remember. And, you know, as you said, they've already done a survey. We could piggyback on that as well. So we might as well take advantage of the things they've already done, thank them, and add what we want to on that, I think is a good idea.
Yeah, so if there's no factual questions, then we'll
Yeah.
close that.
Any other questions?
I don't know if there's a question. Can we get some more information about all the transportation services the city is providing? Because right now I don't have like a whole idea of what all the things we have available,
Of
and
course.
that way we have a better way, and then we have something that we are able to share on our own sites too.
Yeah.
So transportation, what we provided by way of services.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was also going to ask, or anyone else have a question? If it's possible to get a calendar, the HERE Commission's calendar, of any event they may have in the future that we can participate in. Not just them, but I guess we should really think about other community events. I mean, we have a general calendar. I'm sure we can put that together, but you would have a better idea of when it's appropriate for us to put something up
Most
like
definitely.
that, something that would draw the community.
Yeah. Most definitely. And to address your question, I actually have the transportation resources off the top of my head, and then I can send you a follow-up email with all of the actual concrete ones. But we do have the new Ride SG program, which I believe you are all aware of. So that's fully launched and ready for our 62 years and older residents as well as persons with disabilities. So they now have the ability to call in like they have been if they were a previous customer through Dial-A-Ride, or they can utilize the application, the mobile application. There are some items that we're seeing that we need to make adjustments to make it easier. There are some things that have changed from the prior service that the First Transit has been going above and beyond what was actually expected of them. So now that the application doesn't allow for that flexibility, those are just things that we're working with the customers to find ways to where we can still accommodate them, just maybe not in the exact way that we were doing it before. The other transportation that will be released eventually will be to the general public through Ride SG. So they'll be able to utilize the same vans, the same transportation service, with the exception that it won't be door-to-door service or curb-to-curb service, I should say, and it won't go the 5 miles outside of the city of San Gabriel. So it'll only go within the city of San Gabriel boundaries, and it will cost an additional fees. So currently, if you're part of our Ride SG Plus, which is formerly Dial-A-Ride, then you will only be paying 50 cents per way compared to the general population, which will pay $1 per way. And you don't have to be a resident of the city of San Gabriel to utilize that service. As long as you are in the city while using the application and going somewhere within the city, you're able to use it. You can register with an account and utilize the service. So once that's available, we'll let the commission know as well as the general public, of course, because we'll be having to really push that out. We don't have a current timeline as to what that would look like. We were hoping for 6 months out, but we want to make sure that we have this down solid before we release it to the general public.
So everyone will ride the same bus?
Correct.
62 plus and the general public?
Correct.
And then one more question, because on IA we're talking about all transportation services. Is there can we plug in all the other services that we're providing in the Community Service Commission? Just
The other type of transportation services?
and plus others like senior, the lounge programs, and then all kinds of services that we're providing other than the transportation.
Oh, more
service.
than just transportation?
Yeah. Where we have to stick to this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would tie in well with your 1B, which is collaborate with businesses, organizations in order to offer additional social services to older adults. So as well as kind of, it's a bit of a stretch, but pushing the resources that we have for the older adults as well as bringing in new resources. So part of that is on our end as staff is doing the grand reopening, which is a week from tomorrow at the Adult Center. So that's kind of the launching off point, and then any additional resources or programs that we can implement and add in, we just want to make sure that people know about what we're doing before we start adding things in.
Yeah.
But yes, so to answer your question, yes, it's possible to expand that.
Yeah, and then maybe we can do a one sheet of fact sheets with all the services that we have on one sheet, so it's easy for people to look it up what we have available.
I think that was our intent with the pop-up. But not just transportations. Right, not just transportation, but all services.
Right, and to continue with the transportation, there's two other ones. There's the access service, which isn't run by the city, it's run by the county of Los Angeles. So that will take seniors as well as persons with disabilities anywhere within the county of Los Angeles. It's a bit harder to get on that program, but it is an available service, and there's quite a few more qualifications beyond that they would need to meet to utilize the service. And then the last one is, of course, just the general bus transportation. So we have 2 bus lines and two servicers that run through our city, so that can be provided to you. So I think it's like the Montebello bus transportation, which I know is strange. I was surprised as well, and then the LA Metro. So we don't service those on our own, but
Okay.
Quick question to piggyback on that. How do you let all the seniors know about these opportunities? You know, if you're going to give us the information, that's great, but how do you get it out to the general public here?
Sure. So for access, we have that in our Grapevine guide, or our senior Grapevine guide. Is it Grapevine Press? Sorry, too many grapevines. So it goes in the Grapevine Press along with our Dial-A-Ride program, which is transferring to Ride SG Plus. So that's how they're able to get it. As far as the transition to Ride SG Plus from Dial-A-Ride, all of the current users were mailed a letter as far as how that transition would take place and how they can utilize it. It has caused some confusion, but we're working through that. And then it's also listed on our website. And then once we are fully confident about Ride SG Plus and making sure that every single detail is worked out, then we can do further promotional on social media and in the Grapevine guide, so the larger quarterly publication. But again, not something we want to push until it's perfect. Yeah.
And so that then people will be notified, those that have used it, they will have a way. And they can always call your office too as well.
Yeah, and everyone that
And everyone signed up in the program is already,
yeah.
they've been notified.
Yeah. And they're already utilizing the new service,
Utilizing
which is
it.
great. And we were actually seeing people that haven't utilized the service in 3 or 4 years, that now they received a letter or they heard about the transition, now they're utilizing the service again. So we're hoping that ridership continues to go up and people continue to show the interest in the program.
Right.
Of course.
Any other question? No?
Oh, one more question.
Sure.
Sorry.
No,
About
that's
about
okay.
the survey. That's the survey from the Hear Commission.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so it went through 2 rounds of pushing. So Councilwoman Menchaca was a large promoter of that, so that helped bring in a lot of responses.
Mhm.
It went in the Grapevine Guide, a few publications, in the department e-newsletter, as well as the City Beat, which is the city's e-newsletter. So all of that work has already been put in. So you'll kind of benefit from all of that. And yes, it was from the Hear Commission, and that's all done and kind of packaged up. So unless they decide to reopen it, those are the final results.
Okay. And then, if it's possible to pull the information, like how many people have signed up to our, the platform where we signed up for courses and all that?
Mhm.
Like how many people signed up, and so how many people are residents, how many people are not residents, and how many courses have signed up? Like all those historical data, are we able to pull them all out?
Yeah, something like that would take a bit more time.
Mhm.
Our staff are actually working on it for our finance department because they wanted the number of courses.
Mhm.
It would take me a bit more time to see the number of registrations, but all something we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know before we had a lot of events, and then they're all overbooked, and then sometimes you have to put people in the wait list, and then we want to see how many people are actually interested in those events, and so to have an idea what's the real demands for those events.
Sure. Yeah, we typically had the issue of maxing out when we were doing all of our COVID
Yeah.
pivoted events. We typically aren't having that issue with, now that we're returning to the regular festival style events, we're able to accommodate thousands and thousands compared to the sometimes 100 or a few hundred that we were able to accommodate just because of how the protocols were. So we can pull that data. I just don't know how reflective it would be of what we're currently offering.
Sure,
Mhm.
I
If that
would
makes
imagine
sense.
that we're just barely getting back to our regular programs.
Mhm.
So once has registration for fall already closed?
Registration for fall will close
Yeah, it
in
hasn't.
about a week or 2.
So it hasn't closed
Yeah.
yet, but perhaps down the line, in
Mhm.
the next couple months, maybe you'll be able to pull that information.
Yeah, so we could
So it
probably
would be interesting to
Mhm.
see how many people came back
Mhm.
to the programs.
Yep.
Right.
And as Commissioner Shea mentioned, I would imagine it's what programs are probably needing expansion, and what programs aren't as popular as the other ones.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Just
Thank
maybe-
you.
Yeah, just when the data is there, and then we'll have a better idea like what we need to look at, and yeah.
Yeah, we can pull the last 2 sessions because that would be we've fairly returned to normal. So summer was a normal summer, and then spring was fairly normal as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Any other questions? No. Okay, do we have any public comments on the action item?
We do not.
The time for public comment on this item is now closed. Okay. Are we good with discussion?
I actually
We're
have one more
okay?
comment, sorry.
Sure. No,
Uh,
that's okay.
Since we have so many things on this annual work plan, I wonder if it's possible for us to like lay them all out, like on a table, item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is what it is, and what is the status of this project? Like this is waiting for approval, or this is waiting for commission discussing, or what is status? So it's easier for us to keep track the progress of our plan,
Mm-hmm.
and also it's easier for general public to take a look into what we are doing and what we have done throughout the year. So,
Do you mean a spreadsheet?
yeah, something
So-
like that. Yeah,
So that we
Okay.
see the,
more visual. Yeah.
okay, the update, okay.
'Cause
That would be nice.
yeah,
I
because
like that.
sometimes so the meeting comes in, and then here we talk about this, and then the next meeting we talk about that. But then it's better for we put everything together so we can see where we're at and then what still haven't been discussed and what have been done.
Okay.
I think since we're starting now, this is the starting point,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Correct.
And so my understanding is what you've pulled out here are items that are from the work plan,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but are also something that we could be working on in collaboration with other commissions and
Correct.
events that are ongoing. Okay,
Correct.
that's my understanding. But it's a great, Commissioner Shea makes a great point. If we could know where we are,
Yeah.
what's still left on the table, and how
Perfect.
we tackle those items.
Yeah.
Right.
So to that, I'll come back at the next commission meeting with an action plan, which is what we've done for the HERE Commission, which will essentially kind of bulk all of them together. Typically, we've assigned someone to each category or multiple people. Granted, that's a 7-person commission compared to the 5-person commission.
Yes.
Currently, there's only 4. So it might be a bit more difficult to do that, but it also allows those commissioners to take ownership of that particular one so that they can keep track of kind of what they're in charge of. So I'm not sure if that's something that the commission wanted to do tonight, kind of assign yourself something. You also don't have to do it, but it is an option that's available.
Well, I think that if we want to get through these action plans, and I think we put them down in writing because we believe them to be important. So I'm not opposed to going ahead and assigning myself something and taking the proper action or outlining what next steps would be, and then come back as a commission and report to each other about where we are, and then continue to do the work. I'm okay with that. If you want to, should we do that now?
Yeah, if everyone's good
I
with that,
I would
think
like
that would
to
be
get
I think
cracking.
that would be a great idea. Yeah.
Let's get cracking on
Perfect.
the work plan.
Excellent.
Okay, we could do that now. Everyone has their work plan open. Matthew pulled out 1A. How many are there? We're still on 4C, page 5. We're in 4C. Yes, that's what we're working at.
Mm-hmm.
So we have five general areas. There are 4 of us. Would anyone like to take ownership of an item? I'll start. I'd like to work on item number 2. So I'll assign that to myself. By way of I guess also seeing, or rather contacting commissioner from the here, the chair of the here commission, and just perhaps set up the time to talk about who the partners are
That's perfect.
and how they overlap with what we're trying to accomplish, and take that on.
Excellent.
Anyone else?
Well, I guess I'm asking, if we take one of these on, what are you expecting us to do?
Sure.
Search into it and report back, or what do you, I mean.
Sure. So it would depend on the item within the work plan. So I'll use, for example, the enhanced current park spaces, which is 4A. So that's obviously not something that the commission would take on, but
Right.
something that you would work with staff on. So if you, let's say, the examples include enhancement of Smith Park and updating community services facility. So if there's, let's say you do a walkthrough of our facilities and you pinpoint a few things that need some updating or need revision,
Okay.
then those could be things that you, bring back to staff prior to the commission meeting and have that discussion and then report back to the commission. Or, if everything's great, then there would be nothing to report and you would report that everything's status quo with the facilities.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say, we can't really figure out where we should put a new park or if it's feasible.
Right.
We'd have to work with you on that.
Right.
So I'll assign myself to 2A. There are other areas that I see this as an opportunity for the commission
To get involved.
to get
Right,
involved
right.
and really be out there and
Yeah.
I'd like to assign myself 4. And does it have to be A or B, or is it the entire 4?
Yeah, so you would get the entire 4
Okay.
if
Okay.
that's the
It sounded.
since there then
I can
since
do
there
that.
are there will be 5 of you.
Okay.
It kind of is a good idea to take that whole section rather than kind of piecemealing
What
a
you
couple
said sounded
together.
interesting, and I've always been a part of that, about our parks and what was necessary to fix them, especially Smith Park.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll take on 3, embrace and celebrate community diversity.
you said 4, right? Commissioner
4.
Cordero said 4.
And Kathy's gonna take 3.
or Sherry's.
I mean,
three.
Kathy's gonna take 4, I'm sorry. I was gonna give you 2.
I know.
Because you're so capable.
True. No.
So I can do 5, and then I can help out on 3, because I brought up the Moon Festival
Mm-hmm.
event, and then so if you need my help,
You guys can partner on
available.
that. Wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
fine, yeah. That's good, because that's a lot, 3 encompasses a lot, actually. So.
It
Now-
does.
And then number 1, somebody has to take that, or is that going to
Well,
be
maybe we can take parts of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We could
Okay.
divide it amongst ourselves.
So Ting and I'll take on 3, right?
Sure.
Okay, good. That'll
Mhm.
take 2 of us for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And number 1,
There are parts of number 1, I believe that Commissioner Shea, especially 1C, I think you proposed that might be a good opportunity to kind of outline what you had in mind.
Yeah. Sure. I can help out on that.
Okay.
I guess I can take A, or are we still splitting up number 1?
I think we
Because-
all participate in A.
Yeah.
I think we should all be more,
And-
well, I know myself, I need to be more visible. Not that the mission is 95% done. But it would be a good idea for us to be out there and really support, not only support the events, but also support our commission and the department that we work with.
Yeah.
well, that was, yeah, we wanted to make sure people knew what we were doing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So both A and B for all commissioners, right?
I love it.
yeah. I think that's a good idea. We'll all do that.
Okay.
And Ting's gonna focus on C.
5.
Good idea.
Oh,
On
C.
1C?
Okay. Yeah.
1C.
5, and then I guess you're helping Sherry with 3.
Yeah, we're gonna do
Yeah,
3.
we can always helping each other.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can help each other on it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I
It's
have a
just-
question, Matthew.
Yep.
When you mentioned 4, a walk through the parks, so I just call you and
Mhm.
make an appointment with somebody and, okay, great.
Yep.
And all this before our next commission meeting?
No, so it doesn't have to. So this is going to be a
An ongoing.
long-term work in progress. So don't
Mhm.
feel rushed to do anything by the next meeting. And even between now and the next meeting, there may have been nothing accomplished, but maybe just coming up with a game plan of how you're going to approach it, and then report back to the commission at the next meeting. Like your plan is to visit, all 3 parks and get an idea of all of the resources that are available, what needs improvement, and that's going to be what you're going to be working on moving forward.
And I can get that information from Community Services, what resources are available.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So I definitely will be calling you.
Perfect.
Because I want to at least start on one park.
Yeah.
If not all at one,
Of
but
course.
at least one.
Yeah.
Well, it
that
is a
sounds
work plan, so, and it is, we've outlined areas and issues and other elements of community services that we really want to dig deeper in rather than just superficially. So we should just manage our own expectations of really digging in deep and working together with staff over time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and as you mentioned, we want the community to know what we do for the community.
Correct.
This will put us in the forefront a little bit so they know where we are and what we're trying to do. That's a good idea. Okay.
Now that we've gone through the list, I noticed that there's also notes on the fiscal impact of this work plan.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Has everyone read them?
No. I
Let's
haven't
take a
noticed,
minute
yeah.
to read it over.
Which one are you talking about?
It's 4C. It's just the fiscal impact. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I think these are all items that we're just going to discuss over the time that we are working on this plan. Something we can come back and go back, digest, come back together as a commission and then discuss further.
Sounds good.
Okay? Okay. Any more discussion? Can we go ahead and move on? Question?
One thing we didn't talk about 5. Does anybody want to work on that, or is that okay?
Oh, no, Commissioner Shea said she would
Oh,
take
you
on
did
5.
that? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That takes care of that.
Yes. Okay. Great. Good start, I think.
I agree.
Okay. Moving on to the next item, monthly department report. Staff will present the monthly department report pertaining to departmental programming. Matthew?
Okay, thank you. So sorry you have to listen to me talk so much tonight, but so the main items that we'll focus on today is the after-school program, the Jefferson Middle School sports, and our contract classes. So those are the ones that are kind of at the forefront of our programming right now. For our after-school program and Jefferson Middle School sports, Amy actually oversees both of those to get you a better idea as to kind of what she is doing in our office. She has been playing a very active role, but now she directly oversees that. So she's already elevated that, and we expect her to continue doing the exact same thing that she's been doing, and has a great relationship with the San Gabriel Unified School District, which has enabled her to kind of take these to the next step. So all of the after-school programs started on August 17th at those 5 school sites. All sites are full with 40 participants at each site. There is a new program over at Roosevelt, which is similar to the other after-school programs, but is longer and more enrichment based, and it is not full just yet. So we used to have quite a few years ago a program at Roosevelt, an after school program that was just like the rest until they changed their programming or education layout at Roosevelt, at which point then we pulled our program from there. We've since returned and have a great relationship with the principal and the other staff there as to how we can supplement what they're already doing, which of course they're doing a great job, so how can we supplement after school care, which we are now doing. So that's the only after-school program that we have opened up to kindergarten and above. The rest are first grade and above, since that's where we've identified that that's where potentially the largest need would be at that site. So that one has about 12 kids enrolled in it right now. We're hoping that it will grow, but we want to definitely give it a solid effort to see how that goes. When we started the school year, it was substantially lower than that, and kind of putting out flyers and getting parents to understand that we're here and the service is available. It's free of charge. Those efforts seem to be paying off. So hopefully next semester or even next year, that will continue to grow. Hopefully we're able to offer the summer program again at Roosevelt, which will then continue solidifying that we're present at Roosevelt and available to the residents. The Jefferson Middle School sports program, over 100 Jefferson Middle School students tried out for the volleyball and co-ed flag football team. So definitely fantastic news there. I think staff were not quite expecting that turnout, but they handled it with grace and did a fantastic job. All teams will participate in the 210 League, which competes against local middle schools. So our school district doesn't have a team that's directly run by the school like other school districts do. So that's where we step in, and luckily, again, Amy has a great relationship with the vice principal and is very communicative with how we can partner to service those students. The last item is our contract classes. So Danielle Adriano and our recreation specialist, she's the one that oversees those programs. All classes began August 29th, or excuse me, registration started August 29th with classes starting September 19th. Our registration was taken in person, online, and over the phone. And our new programs include ESL, so English as a second language class, watercolor, and dance. So we have a new breakdancing class, to be more specific. So we've always offered, the more classical dancing, but now breakdancing. Be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I have a question. Now, Roosevelt is the elementary school that has the largest enrollment. Is that correct?
Roosevelt has the smallest enrollment, unfortunately, right now.
I mean, as far as the students, the general population.
Unfortunately, I don't know what the overall enrollment is at the school site compared to the other schools. It does service the largest unincorporated population as well. So that much I know, but other than that, I'm not sure.
I think it is, because I know Wilson is the smallest, and then Coolidge is, I think, second smallest, and then Roosevelt and McKinley. So I think Roosevelt, but I just wanted to verify that.
Sure.
And you said the contract classes are taken care of by Danielle
Correct.
and Adriana?
So Danielle Adriano, she's
that's
our
her last name.
recreation specialist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adriano. All right. Thank you.
And of course.
I have a couple questions. The after-school program that is at Roosevelt, the one with 12 participants, what are the hours after school until?
I can pull that up for you right now. So the way that they do the release at Roosevelt is a bit different, where at the other school sites, everyone's released at the same time.
Correct.
Theirs is a staggered release based off of the grade. They also have an after-school enrichment program. So theirs actually, depending on the age, can go all the way up till 5 o'clock. So we do lose some people. There's also another site there called Options, which
Used to be Head Start?
encapsulates a lot more, and they go until 6 p.m. as well. So we've noticed that there's definitely a need for that to capture until 6, but the way we've outlined the budget, it was until 5. Had we, in hindsight, that would have been something different. But all of the school sites actually increased, or they start earlier and end earlier. So that means we've had to increase staff time at all of our school sites overall.
Okay. Well, that's okay. You don't have to provide me. I was just wondering, but it is helpful to know that the release is staggered, and that they have enrichment classes, which is still music and I forget what else there is. And the after-school program, it goes beyond just childcare, right? It's
Correct.
It's homework help, and and
Yeah, so there's
games and recreation and
correct.
all of that,
Mhm.
right? Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad that this is under community services as well, because we want to support the school district.
Yes.
And the other question, oh, so the 210 League is a league, and we participated in it, but as a city team,
Correct.
not a Jefferson Middle School team.
So we represent as a Jefferson Middle School team.
Oh, you do?
Rather than a city team.
Okay, I see. I got it backwards.
But it is run by the city.
The city.
Yeah.
Okay,
On Jefferson campus. So it's a little bit different, but
that's okay. That's all right. It works.
It does.
and
It does.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so shocked that 100 students tried out, but
Yeah.
it's important for the children to have options, outlets, especially those that may not be doing a particular organized sport or anything like that.
Most definitely.
Okay. Any more questions by staff?
And then the after school program is free?
Correct. It's completely free of charge.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know.
Okay. No more questions from staff? Okay. Matthew, do we have any public comments on the action?
We do not.
Okay, the time for public comment on this item is now closed. Okay, on to commission reports. Each commissioner may address the Community Services Commission and public on matters of general information and/or concern. This is also the time for commissioners to report on conferences and/or meetings they have attended, starting with Commissioner Cabot.
All right. I do have something to talk about. I attended several gatherings, I guess you would call it. Attended several gatherings, and I spoke with Jennifer Tang. She's the district representative for Assemblyman Wong, I believe. Is it Fong? And I mentioned to them that we really needed funds for our pool. And if you're aware, when they had discretionary fundings distributed this last year, Alhambra got $26 million for a new community building, a dog park, and several other things. We received 200. What did we get? 2,000 for the park. For
It
the
was today was the announcement of the $200,000 check
Grant.
for the La Laguna.
La
playground.
Laguna, and then Asian Youth Center got a million, 0.2, something, quite a bit. I saw that today. I didn't remember. My point is, I mentioned to Jennifer Tang and also to Assemblyman Fong that we really, really, really need funding for our pool to be renovated and the pool house, and Commissioner Tang brought that up at the last meeting. So I asked him, how do we go about applying for discretionary funding in the next year? They're out of session now. But my feeling is we need to start banging that drum now. We've tried 2 grants. We came close and didn't get them. So I think we need to try something else. And if we start talking to them now and keep reminding them, so at this time next year when the discretionary funding is distributed, hopefully we would get enough. What she suggested is 2 things. First, we just send a letter to them. It doesn't have to be all that information we put on our grant.
Letter to who?
To Assemblyman Fong.
Okay.
And just to the office and say, this is what we need, this is how much it would be, and I'm sure by now you and Rebecca Perez and the people that have been working on it have an idea what we need. It doesn't have to be lengthy. And then she suggested when they were out of session, which they are now, invite Assemblyman Fong to tour the pool house and the pool. Now, I'm not qualified to do that. I don't know what is specially needed, but someone from staff or possibly Rebecca could tour them and say, you know, this is the state it's in now. we've tried for a long time to get funding, and we just can't, and we don't have enough discretionary funding in our funds to do that. Now, it should be noted that this year, the state had a lot of discretionary funds, so they may not have that much next year. But, you know, we could certainly give it a try. So I think we need to start approaching them, talking to them. Assemblyman Fong just lives in Alhambra. Jennifer Tang is close by. They're very amenable. So let's start that process. I've talked to them 2 or 3 times to remind them that we need that. And as long as we keep it in the forefront, I would think. Because I do know Alhambra, I'm pretty sure they hired a lobbyist. Well, we aren't going to do that. That's not in our funding. But we can do our own lobbying, I think. So let's try that and see what we can do, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cordero, anything to add?
No, basically, I haven't attended any classes. I did attend the National Night Out
Oh,
here at the center, Civic Center, and that was very, very informative. And so I did enjoy that. Picked up a lot of information, and visited our booth, the community services booth. And that was a very nice booth, and enjoyed it.
thank you. Commissioner Shea.
I also attended the National Night Out too, but I wasn't in our booth. I was actually in the Year Commission booth helping them out. Agree. Our department, we have our young staffs. They're always taking care of the rest, so we don't have to really go there.
So true.
I really like to see those kind of events, and then help we can bring more events to the Mission District and help the business out in the area too, and to bring the community back together. And another question is, I saw since we have one vacant for the commissioner, I wonder what is the process it's gonna be for the new commissioner, and then what we're looking at right now, basically.
Sure. So we'll have a better timeline in the next week or so, hopefully, from the city clerk's office. So their office is the one that does the entire recruitment process. So they will open up the recruitment. They'll submit an application, just like all of you did. So the process is the exact same. It'll go out on social media, any other news outlets that our PIO can push out. Make sure that everyone's aware of the opportunity. The application procedure will close, and then the city clerk will prepare the applications for the council to review, and then do the interviews during either a special meeting or during a regular council meeting. Then they'll select or appoint the new commissioner. So we're hoping for a quick turnaround, but I think the longest delay will be just the wait period of as applications are coming in.
Right. Yeah. So when are we looking at? Maybe we'll have this seat filled?
Unfortunately, I don't have that timeline just yet, since it just happened at the last commission or the last council meeting. City clerk's office still needs some time to get all of that together. As soon as I have something, I can shoot you all over an email with a better timeline. I won't need until the next commission meeting to have that information, so that's an easy email to send off.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And then the commission meeting is not far, anyways.
Yes. No, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. I did not attend any meetings or conferences or anything like that, so I don't have anything to add. I did want to, oh no, that's it. Staff comments. Staff members have the opportunity to address the commission and public on matters of general information and/or concern.
Okay, so a couple of items. A few of you have mentioned it tonight, but in the city, in partnership with the HERE Commission, is putting on the San Gabriel Mental Wellness Expo. So it'll take place in front of the Mission Playhouse, as well as within the Grapevine Arbor. So in the lawn area, the Padilla Room, the Grapevine Room, all the way back to the tent area. So if you want to stop by for the sound bath, there's going to be 2 demonstrations of that. So it's an interactive, so you would actually be participating in that. And then there's the yoga demonstration. There's one of those. So you can register online or you can register on the day of the event if you choose to do so. There'll be community booths with interactive components that will be in front of the playhouse, so in that plaza area. There'll be a main stage, which will be where all of the announcements will be made. And then in the Padilla Room, Grapevine Room, and the tent area, that's where the workshops will take place. So it'll be presented in 3 different languages throughout the day as well. So English, Mandarin, and Spanish. So we really wanted to make sure that it was available to anyone and everyone that wanted to attend, or as available as we could make it. Of course, we know that there are some people in our community that maybe speak Vietnamese, but unfortunately we couldn't quite go that far just yet. So if the event happens again next year, the commission will determine kind of how to proceed from there. So it'll take place this Sunday from 12 to 4. The other item would be the special luncheon that we had for the seniors. So it was the first special luncheon back since prior to COVID. I think the last one was in October of 2019. So it's been some time since we've been able to offer something like that. We're also one of the first few sites in partnership with YWCA to even offer an in-person meal program at all. So to kind of be going these leaps and bounds beyond what we thought we would be at right now, we're thrilled to be at that point. So it was the theme was the Moon Festival. So we took your inspiration, Commissioner Shea, and wanted to make sure that we represented that. The next one will be the Halloween luncheon, and then Thanksgiving, and then a holiday luncheon. For the Moon Festival special luncheon, we had tremendous support from Mayor Ding, who contacted the U.S. Chinese Women's Association, who donated mooncakes as well as provided a nice song for the seniors. We had about 35 to 40 seniors, which wasn't as big as we were anticipating, but a solid start. So we received some really positive feedback, so we're hoping that the program continues to grow. The last item is the grand reopening of our senior programs, which will take place from 9 a.m. till 12:15 p.m. on a week from tomorrow, which is let me pull the date for you, the 23rd, thank you. So September 23rd. So we will have a round of bingo and other games available. We'll have refreshments in the morning, a mix and mingle session later in the morning, so closer to about 11. And then there will be 2 resource panels available for you to sit in on as well. So each panel will have experts within their area. So for example, one is active living, and then the other one is essential services. So one of the panelists for essential services will be the YWCA of the San Gabriel Valley, who runs our meal program. So they'll of course be talking about our meal program and any other resources that they have. So they have case managers on site as well, which a lot of people aren't aware of. And they partner with the farmers markets to make that fresh food accessible to seniors. So there's a lot of things that people aren't aware of that they do offer. And then we'll of course be talking about our transportation resources and any other senior resources that we find are essential. And then the active living will be talking about our resources that we have within our city, and then allowing other agencies to talk about what their agency what their agencies offer that supplements what we're unable to offer at this time.
And you said the time was?
9 to 12:15. So I know it's a little bit of a strange time. On the 23rd. It's Friday the 23rd. Yeah.
Good. Wonderful. That's so exciting.
I have a quick question for Matthew. Can you just give us a brief accounting of the backpack giveaway, because that was really active?
Of course, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Councilwoman Rivera led the initial backpack giveaway here in San Gabriel. It took place over at Smith Park in the parking lot in a drive-through format. We gave away, I think, 210 backpacks that day in partnership with County Supervisor Hilda Solis's office. So they provided the backpacks, And then Councilwoman Rivera reached out to local organizations such as the Lions Club, the organization at the Mission, the nonprofit organization there, also donated. I'm sorry, the name is the one that runs the boutique.
Oh, the Christian Service
Yes,
Center.
yes. Also donated crayons and a couple other items. Also volunteered their time. A couple of the Here Commission members volunteered their time in preparation. And we had a tremendous turnout of volunteers from the Lions Club that day as well. And then we had a large wait list, unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately. So County Supervisor Hilda Solis's office donated an abundance of supplies as well as backpacks. So about 100 backpacks were given out, I think, last week to everyone that was on the wait list. So they were targeted to that. And the Lions Club came out again and actually took over, and staff didn't have to do anything. I was fully anticipating being there, and they completely did check-in, they distributed, so we were very appreciative for all of their help that day.
And you did it with this 100 degrees.
Yes.
I saw them out there. It was miserably hot.
Yes.
The other thing is, for next year, because I think that Councilwoman Rivera will want to keep this going for sure, is we need to do an outreach to businesses sooner so they have an idea. I know that Wafik, who is the editor-in-chief of ColoradoBoulevard.net, they approached him, but he didn't have time to really plan anything to have his name on there for advertising, or even to give them something, and he'd be like to do that.
Sure.
So I think we need to, touch base with more businesses. It's good advertising for them, and it's a nice thing to say they've done. So we need to work on that next year.
Did our department, did Community Services Department spearhead that event, the backpack giveaway?
We did not. We assisted with the event.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
And for that event, I remember there are a lot of people, they drove by and saw the event, and we had to turn them back. And were those ones put on the wait list, or?
Yeah, so anyone that arrived that day and was interested in still getting a backpack, we took down their information that day. And then the majority, though, of the wait list came from people who put their name on the wait list in advance of that day, but we weren't able to open up any additional spots, so they just remained on the wait list. And some of those people actually that were coming by were on the wait list, and so we let them know that if space becomes available, and luckily we were able to accommodate them.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions? No? Okay, wonderful. The next regular Community Services Commission meeting will be held on Monday, October 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Information regarding matters to be considered at each meeting will be available on the Friday before the Community Services Commission meeting on the city's website at www.sangabrielcity.com. This regular meeting is now adjourned at 7:47 p.m.